Welcome to the It's All for Love podcast. I'm Cheryl Mazza, the healing dancer, your host. This is a love-centered space honoring the enduring legacy and spirit of Michael Jackson and the powerful ways his message continues to live through us today. Through personal stories, meaningful reflections, and heartfelt conversations, we explore the moments he struck us in the heart and how that love still moves through us and the world today. So take a breath and let's begin today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the It's All for Love podcast. I'm Cheryl Mazza, the healing dancer, your host. And today we have Giselle Samson from Los Angeles, California. She's an actress, owner of Kiss the World pendants, and also known as a pioneer cast member of America's Next Top Model. So welcome, Giselle, to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I love the fact that you and I are rocking Michael Jackson shirts
Yeah, Michael, all day, every day.
all day, every day. I love it so much.
Yes, me too. I love your shirt.
Thank
And thank
you.
you so much for being here. I can't wait to hear all of your stories. So
I can't.
tell us, when did Michael first strike you in the heart?
So I was, I don't know, call it 3, 4 years old. Just something about his energy resonated with me. I hardly knew anything he was singing about or talking about. I just thought that he was this most beautiful man with a very big heart who was extremely talented, and I really looked up to him. And at that point, I started already dancing, training at that, at a young age of 3, 4 years old. So seeing him perform and do all of his amazing, dance steps that he does, I just had an affinity towards him. And he just seemed like he had such a bright light about him. And I know that might sound super deep for a 3 or 4 year old, but energy is energy. And I know that this is true because that was unwavering for me as I grew up.
Hmm.
So yeah, 3, 4 years old.
Okay. Yeah, I can relate to that. I know exactly what you mean by the light and just being attracted to his energy.
Yeah.
Because I think I was 5 when I first was struck in the heart by Michael, but that's what it was. It was his energy, it was just that light that he is in the world. And I think that's why so many kids have always been, just drawn to him, even from
Right.
a young age.
Even the ones now that don't
Right.
even, he's not with us anymore. And they're still like, I see these social media posts of 2 year olds dancing to Thriller. And I'm just like, what is going on? But yeah, at that age, if I'm saying like 3 or 4, that would put it at 1987, 1988, which would be during his bad era. And I mean, that was like, he was on, that was probably one of his highest moments of his career at that point too. I know Thriller had already happened a few years before, but Bad was like, I mean, I thought that too, he was like the most beautiful at that point, like his Bad era.
I
Oh my
agree.
gosh.
Yes. Yeah. So how has Michael inspired you or guided you throughout your life?
Whew. So I wouldn't really say that I knew what that would be throughout my life. I would learn to later realize it on around like when I was like 19, but we'll get into that later. Um, because, yes, we'll get into that later. And it's just what he did as I was, growing up and I could hear and understand his lyrics more. He was basically giving us all the messages about loving. And I mean, we had to heal the world and we are the world. And those are just strong messages. And then how he gathered other artists to basically, it was almost like a coalition, to come together and spread love and unity. And I think at that point I was probably a preteen or, anywhere between like 10 and 12 years old. And I'm just like, this man, not only does he have this amazing talent, he literally is using that to share love and peace for the world and his protection around children. And I just thought, I'm like, how can this man be any more? I thought he was an alien, actually, like an alien
Yeah.
hybrid angel.
Yes.
because I'm like, who's just so soft-spoken like that? Who, gets this magnitude of just such a fame and stardom, but it's even beyond that, and then use it for good. And yeah, just throughout his career, as much as I could follow it, I really saw that he was someone who was just really trying to literally change the world. When people say you're just one person, you can't change the world, I understand what that means, but this man, he literally was, we are here to change the world.
Yeah.
We're gonna change the world, girl. Yes. Love
Yeah,
it.
girl, sing it.
That's my favorite. Captain EO. Yeah. Oh my. And
Yeah.
then there's the whole Disney aspect of everything. When I was little, I only ever wanted to go to Disneyland to see Fantasmic and Captain EO. I could care less about any of the other parades or characters or whatever, but those were the two things I went and I saw, both showings of Fantasmic, and I would run back and see Captain EO as many times as possible, being that I grew up, 45 minutes away from Disneyland. And full circle with that is, I said, one day I'm going to work so many manifestations. One day I'm going to work at Disneyland and I'm going to be in Fantasmic. And one day I will meet Michael Jackson.
Like, wait.
Uh-huh. Yes. So,
Yeah.
and I did. I worked at Disneyland. I did Fantasmic. I was there for almost like 9 years. And then later on that catapulted me into America's Next Top Model. And then that whole story, you know,
Wow.
transpired. We get to the whole MJ aspect of it all.
Amazing. Well, then, before we get to that, because I think that this question might lead into that,
Yeah.
have you experienced any Michael Jackson magic or synchronicities?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I was so in my conviction from a young girl, child, that I was going to meet this man one day, from rewinding Thriller over and over and over to teaching myself the choreography by turning the VHS tape television towards the mirror so I would learn it the right way and not opposite,
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we had it where you could like do still frames.
Hmm.
So I would do that and I taught myself that amongst his other videos. And then also having Captain EO, which I said, before that, I just would go back and I taught myself that. I even actually have a social media post where I'm doing the dance just
Oh my
recently
God.
too. Did it over Christmas. I know, crazy. That got a lot of love though. I didn't know how, I didn't know where, I didn't know when, but I was like, I'm gonna meet this man. So I ended up going from performing at Disney to getting on the first season of America's Next Top Model. And within that show, we had one of our challenges was to do a photo shoot for Stuff Magazine, which was a men's magazine for those people out there that don't think that Michael Jackson was interested in women. Oh, yes, he was.
Very much
Stuff
so.
Magazine was a men's magazine, and all of us young models were featured in it, and we all had little blurbs to our, next to our picture. And I went and I spoke about, they were like, what's the craziest thing you ever done? And I'm 18 at the time. So, what really craziness have I really done in my life? But at the time, my story was I convinced my best friend to get in the car from Inland Empire and drive all the way to Santa Barbara or Los Olivos, where he lived after he moved from Encino. And we were just going to go there and knock on his door and be invited in and maybe ask, for breakfast or lunch, and everything was going to be fantastic. Yeah, right. So we drive, I believe, four hours or so it was. Get there, of course, gate barricaded. We're like, now what? Oh yeah, we went up to we hit the box, where you buzz and then security answers, and we're like, hi, we're here to see Michael Jackson.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Mind you, I'm 15.
Mhm.
Maybe 16 at the time, 15 or 16 at the time. And my friend, 15, because my friend could drive. She was 3 years older than me. And they were like, are you crazy? Absolutely not. No, they didn't say it like that. But
Yeah.
basically, we were turned away. So we drove all the way back and we were mad at each other. We like blamed each other. I don't know. We got in a big old fight and we were silent the whole time. And I don't know why we got mad at each other, but we got mad at each other. So I told that story. And lo and behold, fast forward 3 years. that magazine comes out with that blurb of the story, and somehow Michael Jackson reads it. So he contacts my agent. I don't know how he found my agent because this is pre-social media, pre like, really being able to just find everything on the internet. I don't even know where I had, and my agency was Peak Models at the time. I don't know where he found this information. Anyway, so I get a phone call from my agency and they're like, um, can you please give us a call back? Because I went back to college. I was in college after the show, and I was in biology class. And I got the missed call. I run outside. I listen to it. I start shaking, and it's like, "Hi, can you please give us a call? We have a very interesting uh, correspondence from Michael Jackson's people, and we don't really know what to do with it. So give us a call at your earliest convenience." I'm like, "Wait, what's going on?" So I call them, and they're like, "Yeah, this is weird. Some man who sounded like Michael, but it wasn't Michael. He called on behalf of Michael Jackson saying they were looking for you, and I felt very strange to give them your information. So I took their information and I said I'd give it to you, and then we're out of it because we don't know what's going on. This is very odd." And I said, "Heck yeah, this is odd. This is crazy. What do you mean?" So I immediately call. This gentleman answers the phone, and he sounds just like Michael. It's like a very soft-spoken way of speaking, and he's like, "Hi, hello, this is Frank Tyson." And I'm like, "Hi, my agency said you guys called and you were looking for me, and I'm not really, well, we're in the middle of a recording session right now. Can we give you a call back?" Okay.
Sure.
Okay. I'm like, I will never hear back from these people. So I go back into class. Within literally like 20 minutes, they call me back. I run outside. He's like, "Oh yeah, we Michael saw your Stuff magazine blurb, and he would like to invite you and a guest to come up to Neverland Ranch. And we also would like to discuss some other opportunities as well while you're here." What? I'm shaking. I have tears streaming down my face. I'm trying not to like let him hear that I'm all choked up and like crying like a crazy lunatic fan. I'm trying to, keep my composure. And I'm just like, "Well, how and when?" And they were like, "Oh, whenever you want to come next week." I said, "Sure." I think we were there within 7 days. I don't know exactly. I called my friend up because I think it was only fair that she was the one who went with me the first time. And so we went up there, and boy, wow. I mean, I don't know if you want me to stop talking at this point to get into the segment about Neverland and Michael and what transpired thereafter. But yes, we went up there, hung out at Neverland, met the man in his theater while he was working, plus so many other things like feeding his giraffes. And we saw Thriller, his tiger. We went up into, his cousin took us around on a golf cart all around the property, even all the way up into this cottage he had up in the hills because he like lived on like acres of like practically like in the hills, like all of it was his own. He had a cottage like all the way up there. And his werewolf statue was there. His all of his gloves, his belts, his records, his gold platinum records. It just, I mean, all the memorabilia of everything that he had done up until that point was there in this cottage, worth millions and millions of dollars. And we were just in there looking around at all of it.
Oh my God.
It was absolutely insane.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. I have full body chills like the whole time you're talking. Just I can't even imagine just being at Neverland, but then also meeting him.
Right.
So tell me more about like the actual meeting, like what happened. What did you guys talk about? Like what?
Right, right. So, so we go into the theater and you could hear him, but there were so many people in there. Chris Tucker was there too, and the Neptunes are coming in, and it was a full house of people. A lot of people hanging out too. Oh, Mike, no, Mike Tyson was there too, but that was a second time because I went back to Neverland a few times after. Um, so what happened was we're there and we're just like sitting and we're like kind of frozen and we had already been there for hours and we're like, when are we going to meet? What's going to happen? We were getting like kind of nervous. Like, are we ever going to meet this guy? Like, if we're going to, is this man, is he real? Is he like, I don't know what's going on. So we're there and then I could hear his voice and he's like, "Oh no, change that, da, 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 da," directing his like documentary thing he was doing. And then they wrapped and he was laying on the floor and you could see his loafers and white socks. He literally wore his loafers, white socks, black pants, and he had a white t-shirt on. He stood up. He's I'm about 5'10". He's taller than me. Everybody thinks that he is like 5'7". He's not. He's taller than me. He's a taller man. He has very big hands, very soft spoken, but also that's not his real voice. His real voice is deeper. People, you know, think that that's fake or not. And I'm like, I'm here to say it's real. He does have a deep voice. He speaks that way due to his
David's.
singing voice and protecting that. And also, he's just a gentle creature. Like he's just a gentle person. So we meet, we hug and shake hands kind of awkwardly. And he just immediately starts going into the world and how it needs to be saved. And he goes on a speech about, you know, the issues of it and how he just was like nothing but love, love, love. And you have to do, he told me like to help change the world and that we have to save the children of the world. And now with everything coming at him, like, oh my gosh, this, he really knew a lot of what was going on. And he wasn't saying it verbatim because I think he knew the masses would not be able to handle it,
Mhm.
but he was trying to do something about it. And that was his message to every single person he had around him. And so like there was no discussion about his career, the things he has. He did ask if like, do you want to have you been able to go, play with the giraffes and the animals and we've been on everything. And he was like, good, good, good. I want you to have a good time. Did you go get see the candy? And did you have some in the theater, in the front there? And I was like, yeah, we got some. Thank you so much. And he was talking about just spreading kindness and protecting the children and the state of the world and just I have to do my part while I'm living on this planet to help change it for the better.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very intense, very quickly, and I was still young. I was 19 to be 20, I think, that year. And it was a lot for me to take in because I'm like, how am I talking to this person that I've looked up to ever since I was so young and it's happening right now. It's like I couldn't even get like nothing happened. Like I think it was in shock that it
Hmm.
was so hard for me to even process everything he was saying. I just remember that he was telling me I needed to be someone to change the world for the good. And that's all I could take from that. And I just like this Michael Jackson, this star. And when I say star, I mean light, not star as in like a idol or a famous person, like star as in just like in vibrancy of like energy and presence was in front of me. And it was a lot. It was a lot. But he was a very, very nice person. Very, very nice.
I can see how that would probably be a lot to take in,
Yeah. And
especially as a
then
young person. Yeah.
And then it doesn't stop there. What got even crazier was then I went on to go into like this editing room area where a very famous director was there working, collaborating. And he was like, well, I'm not sure how much you got into this conversation with Michael Jackson, but he is looking to do the sequel to Thriller. Uh, it's the song Threatened based off of his Invincible album. And he would like you to be the love interest, which would be equivalent to the Ola Ray of Thriller in this new short film. And I almost fainted. And I thought my whole life was going to change. And I couldn't believe that these words were even being said to me. And that he thought that I was of that. I almost could cry about it right now. That like status to be opposite him. Unfortunately, the second allegations came out against him at that point, and that's when I think he left to Bahrain, and so it never panned out.
Hmm.
But my friend was there as a witness. I called my godmother after at the gas station and was practically crying delivering that news. And well, Brett Ratner remembers what he said. So
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's definitely, yes. I think that's like one of the highest honors from Michael, to be offered something like that. And it
imagine,
sucks it didn't, yeah, because of the damn fucking allegations.
right?
It
Gosh.
ruined
And
a lot
so
of stuff for people.
when This Is It happened, and I know that's like a separate thing, but when This Is It happened to all those people getting ready to practically open and fulfill their dream. I mean, they, in my opinion, they already did because they had all those hours of rehearsals with him. But when it just came to a screeching halt,
Yeah.
and finite for them too, right? Because
Mhm.
when somebody's gone, they're gone, gone. There's no like maybe we can revisit this.
Right.
I felt for them so deeply, so deeply.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I did too, because I mean, my dream as a little girl was to be a backup dancer for Michael. That's why I started dancing. And then I was like, life took a different turn, but
Well, there's always the Broadway show you can audition for.
I might be too old for that now.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
I could
don't
dance for like a really good Michael Jackson tribute artist,
Yeah, that would be
like I can
cool.
be you know, in a
There's
few
some good ones
numbers.
out there.
Yeah. So that could be my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
By the time I turn 50, I'll be on stage with someone who looks like Michael.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll be there going, yeah, get it, girl.
Yes. Yes, I would love to have that. And then you said also that you were invited back to Neverland a couple times after that.
Right. So, then, I mean, I then ended up doing his 45th birthday celebration at the Orpheum Theater in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
He was there as a guest. So, all of us who performed, we were literally performing for him. It's been translated onto Google a little differently because when you say you danced for Michael Jackson, it sounds like, you were a backup dancer or, it can be misconstrued. So, I'm clearing that up right now. He was an audience member. He was the guest of honor, of course, but he was an audience member, and so we performed for him for his viewing,
Yeah.
pleasure. And that was such an amazing experience. So the choreographer that I worked with, he also was part of the Michael Jackson camp and knew some of the original dancers of Michael Jackson, such as Lavelle Smith and Travis Payne. And so through those relationships and through this gig that we did there, then we were able to return to Neverland on a couple of different occasions. And I also then went to Las Vegas when he was given the uh, what was the award? I can't remember the award, but an award uh, at the Radio Music Awards. Do we even have Radio Music Awards anymore? No, we
I think
don't, do we?
so.
I
Yeah,
don't think so, but I was in Vegas, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, I was a bit around the Michael Jackson camp for a little bit, and it was a little hard because these things happened after him fleeing or leaving or whatever it is, going
Mhm.
to Bahrain or leaving the country and then coming back and then maybe, talks of him reemerging and then everybody would get excited and then it didn't and then he would kind of, go back into shell or
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it. And I can understand that. That was a lot for him.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the things that he went through and it's so devastating as a fan and someone who got to experience him in person, not just someone who is, knows him from a distance and idolizes him, but actually having an experience personally to see and know that he was such a gentle, kind, sweet, loving human being who just so happened to be talented. And then to have all that stigma on him, I could see how that could make someone incredibly devastated
Mm.
and, just lose. And even yet, humanity was terrible to him and he still had hope in humanity.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a very, very, very strong, strong mind because let me tell you, one person gets me all sad and emotional and the whole world is crumbling down for me. So, you know,
I can relate to that. Yes.
really. Yeah, I'm like, wow, how
Yeah.
devastating to know how who you are and what you're trying to do, and even in your songs, the message is there of just trying to share love and peace and kindness, and then everybody's telling you you're the exact opposite, and not only the exact opposite, but like beyond like the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very troubling and devastating, but
It is. And I mean, as like a person like with Michael, I didn't learn just about dance from him. I learned about love, you know,
mhm.
and I saw the world through his eyes. And that also made me want to be a better person and to share love with everybody, you know? So it's heartbreaking because it's like as someone who loves a lot and wants to change the world and wants everyone to feel that love, you can't imagine that there are like these monsters, these evil beings out there that just want to tear you down because this is what you're doing, you know, like this is you're spreading the message of love. So anyone anywhere doing that, they're just going to come after you and try to tear you down, you know. It's heartbreaking to
Yeah.
see that. But I think Michael definitely built an army of us. You know, like when even in talking to you, like that was his message when he talked to everybody, right? That was in everything that he did. So I think that is definitely the biggest part of his legacy
Right.
is building us up to then carry it on
Right.
and continue that work. You know, we're not Michael Jackson status, but we surely can spread the message and make a difference in the world, being just one
Absolutely.
person, you know.
Absolutely. And that's what I trying to do with my Kiss the World pendants. It's not about it being a jewelry brand. It's not about, becoming this I create jewelry mogul person. It's just about I wanted to create something of a symbol to
Mm,
spread that message. And that's what I ended up creating many, many years after because I didn't know it like all kind of transpired over time. But that's what I ended up creating from his message to me that day in person at his theater at Neverland Ranch.
yeah. Is that what you're wearing now?
Yeah, this is my kiss. And
Yeah.
these are my actual lips. And it's hard to see here, but then you have the entire world in the lips
Wow.
in gold and white gold.
So are they available for purchase? Do you have a
Yep.
website or
Yep.
yeah?
www.kiss-theworld.com.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. I have to look
Yeah.
into that. I think I need one. Is it
And
all
then with
the
that,
same?
at different quarters of the year, I donate proceeds to different
Okay.
organizations and nonprofits that I resonate with, from St. Jude's to people suffering from domestic abuse to, children that are, living in impoverished conditions. I'm trying to do something similar, from my
Right.
little tiny little platform that I have. I try, but it's interesting because like we were saying, I'll put a picture of me modeling and I'll get a ton of likes and engagement. I put a picture of a pendant and the message and nobody cares. And that's what's really unfortunate about what's that saying? We we praise everything and value nothing. We idolize everything and value nothing. What's
Yeah, I
have
know
you
what you're
heard that
saying. I
before?
cannot remember
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
it's something like
Right.
that. And it's so true. It's like people are so like, you know, worshiping so many things, and then at the end of the day, it's really just superficial.
Hmm.
And I think one thing that us Michael Jackson fans, how we're different than the average fan of any other, you're a Swiftie, you're a beyond, I don't know, the Beehive or whatever these people are. I
The
mean, I'm not
beehive.
saying that they don't do, I'm not saying that they don't do great things. However, back when Michael was coming out, he was really showing love. So if we were going to be idolizing anybody, which I don't think we should be idolizing anyone, but to look up to somebody like him, we were looking up to somebody who was really doing good. It was beyond, for me anyway, it was beyond the music and beyond the fame stardom aspect of him. It was that light, that energy, that positivity, and that love.
Yes. And he was very healing for a lot of
Very.
people. Yeah. Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have a Michael Jackson song that is like medicine to you right now?
Oh, okay. Melodically, it's Liberian Girl. Melodically, the lyrics are not so much of a message, but melodically, just the composition of that song,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. It's healing to me for some reason. Lyric wise, well, oddly, enough. It's is change the world. We are here to change the world. And with this rainbow and how he was like literally visually showing us in Captain EO, because that's where the song is made famous. He's taking the evil Empress Witch lady played by Angelica Houston and turning her into an angelic, loving human at the end, and all of her creepy soldiers and fighting them with his love and power. I mean, come on.
It's so
Like,
Michael.
that's amazing. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's amazing. I'm obsessed with Change the World. I just am because if you just look at it lyric wise, you could be like, well, how could, a song like that be? But it's just, and then he's got that beat. I don't know. It's great.
Hmm.
It's a great song. Great song. And visually amazing.
Yes, yes. And it's a great well, I asked about what's your favorite short film, but like there you go.
It was, I mean, it's everybody's, I feel, thriller. But
The class.
remember the time is close if you watch the whole thing, not
Right.
just the music part of it, but the whole thing from the beginning to end.
Yeah.
But Change the World is going to be my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
That's I mean 3D. Come on, we're dealing with Georgia Lucas. I mean that was at another level.
Right.
Amazing.
Exactly. What do you want the world to truly understand about Michael Jackson?
What I mentioned before in my very first encounter and meeting with him, that it's almost unexplainable how much love oozed from his pores, that he was very just gentle and kind. And I don't really think, other than maybe Mother Teresa, comes close to him with that, with, you know, bleeding out that love and desire to really just want to live in a world of peace.
Was there anything else on your heart that you want to share with us?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've touched on it all. I mean, he just is just an amazing, I call him a creature because he's just so, I think creatures are better than human beings, first of all. I feel like they just live in their day to day to survive. There's no bad. They're not trying to do anything bad to any other. I know that some animals eat other animals. I understand, and there's the hunt, but that's like their survival. We don't need to be murdering anybody for us to survive,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so to me, I just find him to be an amazing creature, unlike any other human that is out there. And I don't think anybody can touch his light and soul. I don't really care who the biggest person is right now, and I can't believe that they're even comparing certain people to
No.
him. I'm not going to name any names because we're not here to put anybody down,
No.
but it's very bizarre to me. And then even just comparing like stats and numbers of like, oh well, this person's at billions and billions. I'm like, yes, yes they are, yes they are. But remember, Michael Jackson did all of this without social media.
Mm.
Imagine if he had social media. I don't even know if he'd be in the billions. I think he would hit the trillion mark because his
And
his energy was just too big. It's
yeah.
too big for anything. And honestly, it was so big, and I think he came and he did what he needed to do. And I don't see how he was ever going to be a man who did grow old. I know he went in a untimely way and not in the, there's theories on how he's left this world, but I feel like he was always meant to come here, do his mission, change the world, Captain EO. He came here, he did his mission to the best of his ability, and that was his time.
Hmm.
That's how I feel about it.
I still feel like he's still, you know, he's still here.
Like really, really, or just that his like energy.
The energy is still here. It's so
I mean,
present. Like,
listen, if I'm gonna be real about it, there are times where I think the man is still here.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. That's what I
Like
mean.
here,
His
here. I'm
energy
like, no, no,
feels like,
no. You
I
you
know.
like your disguise is too much. You might be somewhere. I don't know. I saw
I
some
I still
guy pop out of that coroner's van, and I don't know.
I know. Well, it's like, with the way the world is today, you never know. You never
Never
know.
know.
And I always say, if anyone can fake their death, it's Michael. But we might never know if that conspiracy theory is ever true. So, but
We might not.
being an energy person, like I'm into energy healing and all that stuff. And I remember how his energy felt, before June 25th, 2009.
Mhm.
It feels the same to me. That could also be because he's such a strong energy,
Absolutely.
that his spirit still lives on through all of us and is still like guiding all of us to do his work that he was here to do, spread love, which is what we're doing, which is what you're doing with your pendant, which is
Yeah.
what I'm doing with this podcast, like the
Yeah.
energy is still here. He's still inspiring us and
Absolutely.
spreading his love.
Can we go back to that synchronicity question?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So my mom was pregnant with me at almost 9 months when she went to the Victory Tour
Mhm.
concert. My mom said she was going to marry Michael Jackson and she was going to be a Jackson one day. No, she did not end up marrying Michael Jackson, but she did end up becoming a Jackson because my she married my stepdad and his last name is Jackson and my brothers are Jacksons.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh. And there was one more where I was like, wait, there are when you said June 25th, 2009, my grandmother passed away June 25th, 2012. Was it 20? Yeah, same day,
Wow.
June 25th. Talk about synchronicities.
Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
I love the synchronicities.
And then working at Disney where he had Captain EO, and then how when I was working there too, older, because it went away then when he passed, it came back. So then I was able to go and see it again as an adult. And then I had already met him and been on top model and I got discovered for top model at Disneyland.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. You had a lot of Michael
Oh yeah.
synchronicities.
Oh, a lot of Michael. And then like the dancers I've met and even Chris Judd, and Chris Judd was his backup dancer, but then also was married to Jennifer Lopez. And then
Oh yeah.
for my when I went to college, my what do you call it? Internship, I worked for Jennifer Lopez.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah. So when I say, yeah, the synchronicities in my life with MJ is crazy. And met Janet and Jermaine and Catherine and Joe.
All at once or
No, different times
oh
throughout
wow.
years.
How was it
Mhm.
meeting Janet? I have to.
Ooh, okay. Well, so I don't want to be rude. I love her. Okay. The way that I thought the interaction with Michael was going to go was the way that it actually went with Janet. So
Okay.
I met her at the Soul Train Music Awards. I was a Soul Train Music Award girl.
Hmm.
So I was backstage. She was receiving the Sammy Davis Jr. Award when I met her. And she was, I would say, even more shy and behaved in a very interesting way as a shy person at that time. Maybe it was just that night or that day. Way more, I'm just going to keep the word interesting than Michael.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just small, just little.
Yeah. Yeah, she does seem a little shorter.
I mean, I was in, yeah, I mean, you could see it in Scream, the height difference. And then I'm like almost 5'10", and then I was in stilettos, so I was like
Mhm.
towering over her. But yeah,
Yeah.
but she was still nice and sweet. She's rocking it out. She's in her 60s. I went to her concert in Las Vegas recently. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
doing her thing.
I've seen her in concert. She's pretty damn good.
Yeah, yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. And you said you met Catherine too?
I
Mommy?
did. That was just a
Like a brief.
brief thing, and she's a quiet,
She's very,
you know,
yeah.
young
Yeah.
lady. And when I went to Neverland, I played bumper cars with Paris and Prince, and I held blanket.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I know. I every time I tell this story, I'm always like, "Is Paris ever gonna? Is she ever gonna get this message?" I want to be like, "Hi, I played bumper cars with you when you were little." Yeah, at your dad's house.
Oh, that
And
is
I remember they were like, "Don't hit them hard. Just, be
mhm.
gentle, like pretend." And we were like, "Okay." Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like so much fun. They've
Yeah.
grown up into such beautiful people too.
Oh my gosh, I know. And Prince is trying to do very good as well. He has a foundation
Mhm.
he started, right? And oh my God, Prince is just a beautiful, beautiful young lady. And I've watched everything she's done as far as her acting career and loved her in American Horror Stories, and she's doing her music thing, and you know, that's amazing. And it's not, I mean, yes, their dad is their dad, but I mean, he's not here to like push them through the doors, you know. They still have
Right.
to
Stand
stand
on
on
their own.
their own feet. And I'm not quite sure what's really going on with Blanket. I don't know much about him too
I
much.
know he's pretty quiet. You don't really hear much about him. So
Mhm.
yeah. Then again, I don't really dig either. Just if they pop
Yeah, I
up,
don't
I'm
either.
like, oh look, this is what they're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for all your stories. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Um,
this is so awesome. I've never gotten the opportunity to have it MJ focused. I've been asked about this stuff in the past with other interviews and articles and podcasts, but it's always just a little piece of my story when we're talking about other things. So I was like, wow, I actually get to go on a podcast where it's like dedicated to MJ and his message and all of us fans being able to just chat about it. It's cool.
I can't wait for
Thank you for
everyone to
this
hear it.
platform.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Well, before we end the episode, I would like to take a deep breath together, and this includes everybody listening or watching. And we're going to send out a major love to the world, to anyone that is open to receiving it. So all you have to do is just set the intention to send out love to the world. So take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, see that love going out into the world. And thank you, everyone, so much for listening and watching. It's all for love. We'll see you next time.
It's all for
Bye.
love and kiss the world.
And kiss the world. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing this space with us. Every story, every reflection is a reminder that Michael's legacy is not just in his music, it's in the love that we choose to carry forward. If this episode touched you, I invite you to subscribe, share, or leave a review. It truly helps this message reach more hearts. And if you feel called to share your own Michael Jackson story, you'll find the link in the show notes to connect. Until next time, it's all for love.